365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
And what's up, everybody? It is Mr. Bond Chronicles here with some amazing gentlemen. I believe Chris is probably riding pretty high on tonight's episode, so we would definitely clear the runway for him. We got some breaking news that Joel Embiid has a orbital fracture, I believe, and a concussion that he has sustained in Game 6. So he's out indefinitely, which is obviously terrible news for my man Marcus after the Brooklyn Nets went out and we thought Philly was quote unquote home free. So we definitely will touch base on that. But before we get into all that, fellas, how y'all feeling?
What's up, Ray? Chris, what's going on?
Doing good, man. How y'all doing tonight?
Well, I'm sad, as you know. My Sixers are in trouble. We'll see how it plays out. We see what Harden got now.
That's a scary statement.
This man
see what Harden has.
This man is trusting Harden and Doc.
So yeah, it definitely has been a whirlwind of a day or two for the NBA. It currently, just to give everyone an update, Memphis is trying to close out Minnesota. Ja just had a nice layup finish. It was spinning around the rim, wanted to make sure it went in. Minnesota's currently up 46-45. So that series has been tough and drug out. So Minnesota trying to defend home court one last time. Memphis obviously trying to close out, as no series have went to 7 games. One was a sweep. And speaking of the sweep, the Nets. So I don't know, what was it? 2 years ago, the Nets made the Kyrie, KD made the decision to go to Brooklyn. Then they brought in James Harden. Then they got rid of James Harden and brought in some other people and had a first-time coach, even though they said they didn't need a coach. And all was great in Brooklyn, and then the wheels fell off, and it culminated this past week in a sweep at the hands of the Boston Celtics. So my question, and I'll start with you, Chris, what happened to the Nets, and what is their future?
And what happened was they just simply got outplayed and outcoached. Steve Nash is, let's be honest, he was just kind of given a job. He really didn't have the history of anything to get that kind of job. He just knew the right people. I can't pronounce his name. Ime Udoka. He came in with a game plan. Them boys became some great defenders at the start of the year, and they just rode that wave all the way. I'm not gonna just say that Brooklyn got their asses kicked, because there was a couple. I think what maybe Game 3 was the only game that they really just lost. Any of the other games could have went any other way, but at the end of the day, they still got swept. The future is going to be, what do you do with Kyrie? Because we know Kevin's going to stay. Nobody's going to touch Ben's contract right now, so it's really on Kyrie. What's his future? But I'll let Marcus go, and then I'll kind of go back in a little bit later.
My whole thing is, we need to be questioning, like, how overrated is Kyrie Irving? That should be the question. Nothing about the Nets, just everything about Kyrie is overrated. From his time in Cleveland, to his time in Boston, to his time in the Nets. Everything about Kyrie is overrated. I'm not giving nobody no credit. I'm here to bash Kyrie and I'm actually here to bash Kevin Durant. Yes, I said it. Ever since he left LeBron, Kyrie's been nothing. Matter of fact, yeah, even before LeBron came back to Cleveland, Kyrie was a lottery. They was a lottery team with Kyrie. And then when LeBron got there, that's when he got his name. Because he hit one shot that didn't even end the game for the Golden State. He just untied it. That's the sad part. And he's been living off that for the longest. Kyrie is definitely overrated. Matter of fact, I give Chris Paul more credit than I would give Kyrie credit for anything. And that's the problem with the Nets.
First of all, Chris Paul should have more credit anyway, but we'll do that later. We'll do that later. I'll chill.
They got Kyrie. That's why Boston won, because they got Kyrie. Now, if he was with Boston, they would have lost. That simple. Kyrie screwed everything up. Now, if you want to be vaccinated or not, that's your particular problem. But if it was mandatory and you're a team player and you're in the NBA and you're supposed to be a team player, you would think you'd deal with the rest of the team done. Got vaccinated. Maybe y'all wouldn't been a 7 seed. Maybe y'all have been a 1 or 2. And y'all passed, might have got easy. Maybe James Harden would have still been there. So everything they have to do, they blame Kyrie for it. Because we already know what Kevin Durant is. An overrated scorer. Even to me, Kevin Durant's overrated. Because what has he done outside blowing a 3-1 lead and joining Golden State? Outside of that, he hasn't done nothing. So that's what happened to the Nets. Kyrie and Durant. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm done.
So nothing on Nash?
Nah, because like you said, he was just given the job. They could just fill any coach. It'd have been the same outcome.
Okay.
All right. That was a lot. I ain't gonna lie to you. I did not see that coming. I guess I have a couple.
Oh, that's why he's talking like that. Whatever's in that cup.
No, it's just some cranberries. But the Embiid situation got me heated too.
Okay, I can see that there can be some emotions involved.
Mm-hmm.
So when you say Kyrie is overrated,
very overrated.
Are we talking as like a ball handler? As we're talking as a basketball player? Like,
right? Because I think what you were saying though, because one thing was never questioned is his leadership, so you can't overrate that.
No, he's always been a terrible leader.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm talking about the whole package. You know, for what you want to call it for, because if you want to go ball handling, Steph Curry's up there with him. If you want to go ball handling,
if you want to go, but no, Kyrie's probably the best handles.
I don't know. That's debatable because I see
Kyrie's top. Let's go top 5 in handles
easily.
Yeah, I say that.
All right, so we're good there.
I give him credit for that. Scoring wise,
you said really quick. You said you just downplayed one of the greatest shots in NBA history as he just hit that shot.
See, so I can't say that's the greatest shot.
The game.
Only reason why we're saying it's the greatest shot in NBA history because LeBron's next to him. Because that wasn't the game winner. It wasn't a game winning shot.
It did win the game.
No, it didn't.
LeBron gave him the lead.
Won the game.
It's what stopped the autumn bricks and everything. It was like the first shot.
Right, but it wasn't the game winning shot.
But that's what gave him the lead.
Google it. It wasn't the game winning shot.
Well, no, LeBron hit those free throws later. But
yeah. And LeBron got that chase down block too. So
you believe if Kyrie doesn't hit that shot, Cleveland still wins the ring?
Cleveland still wins because it was a deadlock at 89 or 87. And
Golden
State they hit a shot for 3 minutes or 4 minutes and some change. So whoever shot the ball was going to be the greatest winning shot ever.
And Kyrie scoring 40 in that series was also overrated.
No, I ain't say nothing about the series. He's still overrated. Plain and simple.
So I guess I'm trying to figure out where he's overrated. Like, no one's saying he's a top 5 point guard. Are you saying he's not a Hall of Famer?
He's not even a Hall of Famer. Show me in the numbers where he's a Hall of Famer outside of what he done with the Golden State in that one series. Because he didn't play out of the 4 times they went to the finals. He only played in one of them. And he was injured the other 3.
So we're throwing everything else away.
What has he done outside of that?
I mean, he scored really well. He has a number of All-Stars and all NBA.
Was he Rookie of the Year?
Yes, I'm pretty sure I can try and pull that up
I
while
think
we
he was.
I know he has an All-Star MVP.
So
But that still makes you overrated. Like, what has he really accomplished outside of what people deem the greatest shot of NBA all time? He did nothing in Boston.
you can't say what have you done besides this amazing accomplishment.
I mean, I hate to. Okay, what did Iverson accomplish then?
In the green scheme of things, nothing. You see what I'm saying? But you don't hear me putting Iverson in the conversation like that. I never said Iverson was overrated or
It's the
underrated.
same person that kills people for the, and I did not want to go down this route, for the Jordan argument of 6 championships.
No, I ain't never killed nobody for Jordan 6 championships.
You said that's not like a reason that he's better than other people because
That's the whole thing I said. Like,
so are you valuing playoffs and championships or not?
I'm not valuing people putting too much stock into Kyrie for what he's done in that one Cleveland series. That's basically what I'm saying.
So are you saying that if Kevin Love hits that shot, we don't rank Kyrie good? Like nobody ranks Kyrie that high?
Nobody would. That's what I'm saying. Anybody.
So if you take away that one moment,
that's
Kyrie's
it.
just
What
another great
has Kyrie done outside that one moment that makes you think Kyrie is a Hall of Famer?
Okay, so I looked up some stuff, and check it. It's Wikipedia, so it's not high.
This was nowhere near the topic it was supposed to be, everybody.
It is not. So he's a 7-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
He has an All-Star Game MVP.
Mm-hmm.
He has an All-NBA second team. He has 2 All-NBA third teams. He's part of the 50-40-90 club. He did win Rookie of the Year. Obviously, rookie, all first team. I don't care about the international stuff. He's a 3-point champion. He has a number of great highlights. He's had 50-point games. He's performed well in playoffs. He's performed decent in clutch moments. Are you saying, you said he's not a Hall of Famer, which to me, it's hard for me to swallow that, but I can go there. I think he was number 1 overall pick, right?
He was.
Like, I feel like people value him pretty well. He's a solid number 2. He's a really good number 2.
I think that's the thing. Like, how is he overrated? Because nobody's ever saying, like Ray said earlier, nobody's saying Kyrie's the top 5 point guard.
Yes, they have. They called him the top point guard, the best finisher at the rim. You can hear.
That's not hard to argue, but that you can make that argument though.
He's overrated. Like outside of all the numbers,
he is a great finisher, especially for his size.
Out of all the numbers Ray just named, those are stats that he just named. Hall of Fame, that's debatable. To me, no. But as far as leading his own team, like he wanted to without LeBron, the same team Boston has now, when Kyrie off of it, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals twice in 2 years.
But that doesn't overrate him. That just shows.
That does overrate him.
Well, people did say that he's not a leader.
What people say is he made the greatest shot in NBA history. And then you compare that with him trying to lead Boston on his own, which he couldn't do. They got nowhere. Then when he leaves, hooks up with Kevin Durant in New York, they still don't win nothing in 3 years. So outside the one title that he's won, with Kyrie's on your team, you're not going nowhere. He hasn't been back to the finals. He hasn't even been back to a conference finals.
I guess in Golden State. If that's the standard you're holding Kyrie to, I feel like there's a bunch of, like, what is Charles Barkley? What is Reggie Miller? What is Patrick Ewing? What is Vince? Like, there's a ton of great Hall of Fame top 75 players.
And how often are they bashing Charles Barkley for not having the ring? Like, how often are they bashing Reggie Miller for not having the ring?
Yeah, but no one says they're overrated.
Yeah, because they're not. In that point in time, they're not overrated. But Kyrie,
quote unquote, underachieved.
Was we talking about Kyrie in the same line like when he first got to Cleveland, the first 5 years?
I think we
thought that he was a great player. I liked Kyrie then.
But the team was trash.
So, and then when LeBron gets there,
and Kevin Love,
regardless of what you want, because you can look, nobody talks about Kevin Love now. Nobody.
What do you mean?
That's their fault. But
you just talked about Kevin Love this year.
So without LeBron being there, and without that Cleveland series coming back from 3-1, Kyrie is not he won't be in no Hall of Fame talk. He won't even be in the Hall of Fame discussion, let alone the greatest point guard. Like,
but I mean, you can't take away his championship and say that.
I'm not. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying he's overrated. Is what I'm saying. I never took away a championship.
But you just saying, like, without that run, we don't say it. So without winning a championship, I mean, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. Without that run, what is he?
Okay, so without Wade's 06 run, what is he?
Better than Kyrie.
But I'm just saying, Wade doesn't have that 06 run, then we just look at him winning those rings with LeBron.
No, we wouldn't.
And that 06 run was legendary. So
that
put Dwayne Wade above to a lot of people, the Reggie Millers and others.
Yeah.
Because he did that run and won that chip on his own against.
He was on his own in a sense. That
but
was
if
his
you
team.
take away every great player's best run, like
but that wasn't Dwayne's best run. Kyrie's best run.
What was his best run then?
For who? Dwayne Wade?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2006 and then 2010.
Right,
with LeBron.
When LeBron got there, like he was kind of on a decline because his knees or ankles.
Exactly.
But everything that Dwayne Wade done, even in 2006 and prior, was still better than anything Kyrie had in that 1 year with Cleveland.
I'm not saying that. But I'm just saying though, like you were like take away that run from Kyrie.
That's it.
You're taking away his best year.
But what other runs had he had that you compare it to?
The same thing with Wade. That's what I'm saying. What other run does Wade have?
He's
like 06 is legendary. He was 17 years old and took that team to the finals.
I'm saying, but he's still been back to the finals after 06.
With LeBron?
It doesn't matter. Kyrie did it with LeBron. You see what I'm saying? What can you pinpoint to me about Kyrie after that run?
I mean, I think Kyrie's been pretty good. They were up 2-0 last year and he got hurt. And then this year, I think we would all admit this year was a disaster because it was drama all year.
And once again, you can't fault Kyrie for that. I mean, he chose not to. I think the thing was the media made it a bigger deal than Kyrie did. Like there was never a point where Kyrie said, "I'm thinking about it." From day one, he was like, he's not gonna get vaccinated. The media kept blowing that up.
And you seem to be blaming a lot of this sweep. It sounds like on Kyrie. You threw Kevin Durant's name in there, but you lambasted Kyrie when I don't think Kyrie was the biggest problem in this series.
Oh, I thought he was because outside of game one, him and Durant, they was absolutely trash. Like I don't even think they averaged 20 points. I don't think in that sweep.
They did, but
off of like 28 shots apiece. But
you do know that the margin before the end of game 4, 3 games were lost by a total of 18 points. It wasn't like they was getting blown out. They had the lead in almost every fourth quarter.
When you got a guy named Bruce Brown as your leading scorer on the Nets, I believe, or whatever his name is, that's a problem. That goes to Kyrie and Kevin Durant.
So you're not giving Boston's defense any credit.
No, I'm not, because that same team that Boston,
the number 1 defense in the league.
No, I'm not giving them credit towards that because in the NBA world, you got the 2 skilled greatest dual players ever. And you mean to tell me that Kevin Durant, a 6'11", 7-foot dude, was getting locked up? The greatest scorer, supposedly, Kevin Durant, is getting locked up by Jason Tatum.
I feel like you're disrespecting.
So think about if it's Boston, if Boston
he actually blocked Kevin Durant's shot. How many times has that been said?
Kevin Durant got blocked twice. Exactly, that's what I'm talking about. So if Boston's supposed to be the greatest defense, only for them, really, they should. If Kevin Durant or Kyrie just had 2 good games together, they win that series. Because technically, the first game they should have won. The second game they should have won. Third game they got in that first game in New Jersey, they should have won. So if they only lost these 3 games by 18, what does that tell you?
That it could have went either way.
Right.
Exactly. But your team, if Kyrie and Durant supposedly your best scorers, and they're not really putting up numbers, they're overrated.
5-5 is not bad.
They're
Kyrie
overrated.
Was 21, 5-5, almost 2 steals a game, 100% from free throw, 38% from 3, 44% from the field. That's not that bad. That's
damn good.
All the numbers you just named were sweeping numbers.
So Jordan 63 doesn't count because he lost. So we are. Is that the new standard? Like LeBron had that historic finals, but they lost.
And they'll hold that against LeBron. So however you want to put it, however you want to, go
okay,
up,
so that
down with the
LeBron
numbers,
run where he led like every stat but lost.
He lost.
Okay, I give LeBron credit. I think that's incredible, but his team wasn't good enough. Do you really believe that Brooklyn as a team was better than Boston?
Yes, when you got if you got Kevin Durant
from top,
you have Kevin Durant and Kyrie, right? Every other player on Boston, from Tatum to Brown, every player is better than Brooklyn's Nets.
No, let's not do that. Let's not do that because you can't
take those two out of those two. Who else?
Let's think about this because if you look at Boston, outside of Jason Tatum, maybe Jaylen Brown, because he wasn't giving you 20 every game.
Okay,
even though it's 4 games, he wasn't giving you 20.
Okay,
Marcus Smart's not giving you 20.
He's only
Marcus Smart's right there to score though.
Exactly. So if you just taking the next top 2 scorers,
I didn't say scorers. I said players.
I'm saying just take your top 2 scorers, Kyrie and Durant. Then you got Tatum and Jaylen. Maybe you're going to go with Durant and Kyrie.
Yeah, but there's 3 other people on the court.
Outside everything else, they're just complementary players.
Okay.
So
you take both of those out. You take out Durant and Kyrie. You take out Tatum and Brown.
Tatum was outplaying Durant the whole 4 games that they won.
Okay. He did.
Okay. Overrated. Kyrie was getting taken out by Marcus Smart, who he can't even score with him.
Player of the year.
Okay, but he can't score with
44% and average score with
Kyrie though. If Kyrie's supposed to be the greatest point guard, the top 3 point guard of all time, with the handles and everything, he should be outdoing Marcus Smart on the offensive end. He should be at least averaging 25, maybe 30. Marcus Smart shouldn't even be like a fly on the wall to this guy if he's so great. That's what I'm saying. The two guys that had to go, like Durant had to go play with Steph and Clay, and then you got to with Kyrie. They're not winning no championships. They're overrated. Plain and simple.
All right. I disagree. I think Boston, they were by far one of the best teams after the All-Star break. I think they were like 20-4. They were the best defensive team in the league. I thought they were significantly, to Iverson's point, better coached. I think we saw down the stretch, Brooklyn constantly stalled because of poor coaching. They were competitive in every game, even as bad as you make them out to be. They were in every game. So I don't really understand.
They was in every game thanks to Kyrie or Kevin Durant. They was in every game thanks to the other players around them.
Like who?
So okay, does just having Kevin Durant and Kyrie on the floor, does that not make Bruce Brown's job easier?
It should.
It did.
Would it make Bruce Brown's job easier if they was actually putting the ball in the basket to help him win the game?
So
they got swept. So either way you look at it, whatever numbers you give me, they lost. They didn't win one game.
So all right, I have a quick question for you, Marcus. This will tell me a lot of what I need to know. So which situation do you think is worse? Would you rather get swept and the total margin of victory be 25? Or would you rather lose in 7, but the series total is 50? So there was a couple blowouts, but it went 7. Which one's more impressive to you? Going 7 with a larger margin of victory or getting swept by having 4 close games?
Going 7.
Okay.
That lets me know when you go 7, that lets me know that both teams are actually playing, scoring, defending, blowouts here and there. It had to go 7 in order for a team to know who's better. Once you get swept, you know who's better. You just know. Like there's nothing to it other than Kyrie and Durant are just overrated.
But you can't say because I can argue that we just said Brooklyn could have won games 1 and 2 easily. Like it took a miracle shot from Jason Tatum to win game 1.
And why did that happen?
A defensive collapse.
It blew on defense. You've criticized their offense. That was a defensive issue.
But their offense got enough offense and for them to win that game.
They did. The defense
then.
let them down.
It was a bad defensive play.
It doesn't matter. They got swept.
Okay.
So if Kevin Durant just closes out one game, they don't get swept.
Who cares if you still lose?
If you close out a game, if you're supposed to be a closer, like they say,
I think that part has been exposed. I agree
you at
with
least
that.
win one game.
Kevin Durant as a closer is overrated.
Just like Kyrie as a closer is overrated.
Kyrie didn't really take any shots down the stretch of the last 3 games.
There you go. Maybe I'm not trying to blame no Muslims or nothing like that. Maybe if he ain't Ramadan and ate good and all that good stuff.
Lord, Jalen,
you know what's one thing?
Maybe he has a better game.
Feels like, I think that's just a Kyrie hate thing. Jalen Brown's Muslim.
No, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he has a better game if he ate. You know what I'm saying? Or something.
Hakeem did it.
I mean, that was
he won one. He won 2, didn't he?
Yeah.
But,
so that would make that. I'm trying to give Kyrie excuse to why he's so overrated. I'm trying to give him.
So you think Kyrie against the best defense as the number 2 should average 30?
If he has Kevin Durant,
yes or no? He's the number 2, right? We all agree Kyrie's the number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or
as
is he?
Number 2,
or is he
the best?
Who is Marcus? But is it?
Or is he? That's what I'm saying.
So you saying
he's number 1?
So now you're saying he's number 3.
If you give me, let's hypothetically, if you give
Lord
me,
today.
if James Harden was still on the team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie, Kyrie's the 3rd option on that team.
You're a tripping. Have you seen James Harden recently?
I seen him now. Yes.
Did you see?
You
him
have to
then?
have seen him now.
Yes, I seen him now. That's what I'm saying.
Did you see him then?
Even in Brooklyn, though. In Brooklyn, he was not number 2.
I think he was. Well, Kyrie wasn't playing.
When Kyrie came back, James Harden was clearly number 2.
When did Kyrie come back? When New Jersey lifted the mandate? When New York lifted the mandate?
He played away games.
That's
eventually.
what I'm saying.
And in those games, Kyrie was cooking. Do you remember the game he had? Was it against Orlando? That was
so you want me to give him credit for dropping 60 on Orlando?
Yes, he dropped 60.
It's still an NBA team.
If you go to the gym with the Orlando Magic today, you ain't scoring.
I can score.
You may get 4. You ain't
That's
get 60.
fine. So if he would have gave them 4 more points, they might not have got swept.
Yeah. All right. So we are clear on where Marcus stands on the Nets, and Kyrie and KD. I strongly disagree, but
I disagree too. Man, you got me and Ray agreeing. Come on, man.
I know. So we'll see how we agree on this next topic. Injuries. We talked about it. I think it was on this show maybe a week or 2 ago. Not last week. Maybe actually I've been gone for a little bit, so it might have been longer than that. But the importance of injuries and what to do and how to fix it so that there's less injuries. And we have another one. Chris Middleton sprained MCL, is out for at least, they say, the next series. I find it hard to believe that it'll be back shortly after that. But given that, what happens to the Bucks now with Middleton out? I will say I've never been a huge Middleton fan. I do know he has stepped up at times, but I'm not as worried because of him. I just think they got a bad matchup next. But I'll pass it to you guys. Marcus, I'll start with you and see what you think. What are Milwaukee's chances without Chris Middleton?
I think you know what? I actually think that this is a good matchup, actually, because Horford could kind of match up with Lopez. Marcus Smart definitely can guard Drew Holiday, even though I think Drew Holiday is a nice player. And then they really don't have nobody for Giannis. And so outside of Chris Middleton really being there, he plays that Kyrie role really well for Milwaukee. So at least I don't see them getting swept. So I'm going to give Giannis credit. So this is going to go 6 games, I believe, and I think Milwaukee's going to win it in 6.
Milwaukee's winning 6 without Middleton?
Yes.
So, I mean, we just talked about Boston's the number one defense right now. You take away Middleton, that's a big offensive threat.
I mean,
So,
you're losing 20 points a game in
That's
the
a
greatest scale. Yeah, I know
that's nothing.
But the way that Grayson Allen stepped up, Connaughton's been playing for them. What's his name? Portis. They make up for that. So
Robert Williams is going to be there.
And just for clarity, Grayson Allen had 3 in game 1 and 13 in game 4.
I thought he had 27 in one of them games.
He did game 3.
Yeah.
He had 2 games and 2 bad games.
So there's more than enough. There's more than enough to make up for it. So even with Robin Williams being back, they're not stopping Giannis. And then they got bigs.
You don't stop Giannis. You can't stop Giannis. You can slow him down,
bigs,
though.
Well, you got bigs that can shoot.
But you don't think that Boston's going to, as a defensive-minded team, have that wall ready for Giannis? Because you don't have to worry about Middleton now. Grayson Allen, he's not going to replace Chris Middleton.
I ain't saying that, but I'm saying they got other ways coming off the bench to make up for the 20. So even with Drew Holiday's still there, and him and Marcus Smart's going to match up real well. But Drew can play some defense. Drew can shoot. So you kind of negate that. So even with Giannis, if you try to build the wall on him and he makes himself a willing passer, they have bigs that can shoot. You see what I'm saying?
But they have the defenders to contest that too.
Nah. Horford too small for Robin Lopez or even Portis. And then Robin Williams, if he gets out there, that's going to leave an open.
No, you're not moving him out of there. He's going to post
so
up.
That
He's
leaves open lane for Giannis. So I think it's going to be a tough matchup for Boston, actually.
So we're not going to talk about Tatum's defense?
I mean,
he's not going to be like all defensive teams or anything.
He went against Kevin Durant. That ain't saying much to me.
What? We didn't even talk about you calling Kevin Durant overrated.
He is. Milwaukee is 6.
So you don't. Actually, I'm not going to go backwards to Kevin Durant. We'll keep moving. Chris, what do you got for the Milwaukee series?
We kind of have to go back one day, though.
Inside.
Yeah, okay. Like I just said, I see Boston having a great game plan of I think they're going to go back to what's worked for other teams in the past. They're going to build a wall. Don't get me wrong, Giannis has improved that jump shot, so he doesn't have to just drive in now. But Robert Williams is going to be a great matchup for Giannis. He's not going to defend him the whole time, but he'll shorten up that his drives a little bit. They'll have a wall ready. I see a 6 series, but I'm going the other way. I'm going Boston in 6.
Okay.
Just the Middleton loss is bigger than you really think. He makes Giannis' job easy. Even if he's having an off night, you still worry about Chris Middleton because we know if he does get hot, he gets hot.
He is a streaky shooter.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing, because I think Milwaukee has a bunch of streaky shooters. I think Allen can get hot. I think Portis can get hot. There are other people that can get hot. I think what Middleton can do better than any of those other people is get his own shot. I think he can be the one on the floor when Giannis goes to the bench to still provide an offensive boost that I don't know that anyone else can really pick that up. He also is a long body defensively. So where Giannis may not have had to guard Jason Tatum, you can put Chris Middleton on him and put Drew Holiday on Jaylen Brown and allow Giannis to kind of rest on maybe a Marcus Smart when needed. Now, I think it's going to be more difficult to do that. You can maybe put Bobby Portis on Jason Tatum, but that's not the same, and you risk foul trouble. So I think Boston is deeper than Milwaukee currently, especially without Middleton. And my man Mike, haven't seen or heard from him in a long time. We missed you. Would have loved to talk about the Bulls, but we're going to spare you on that. Those Cubs look great as well. But no, I got Boston. I think I'll give it 6. I wouldn't be surprised if it's over in 5. I think I'll be curious to know what game one looks like with the break, with them kind of being off for a while. So they might can steal one maybe if Boston's rusty, but I don't see it going more than 6. I love Giannis. I think Giannis is the best player in the world right now, but Boston. Well, you can respond in a second, but I think Boston overall is the best, especially with Embiid having his injury. I think Boston is the best team in the East, Miami included. Chris, you sound like you look like you had something to say.
I just don't like Giannis. I mean, I can't take away the man's talent. I just don't like him.
Like personally?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean,
he learned about America from like World Star. What do you not like about him?
Because they beat Phoenix in the final.
This guy gets it.
Put a 50-piece nugget on him.
You can't be a hater all your life, man.
This guy gets it.
Don't be mad because Chris Paul couldn't get it done and Giannis.
But he did last night. I don't know what the next topic was, but I'm taking over real quick. 33, 14 for 14 shooting. Come on, man. A perfect game. A perfect game. That game right there makes Chris Paul top 5 point guard.
Stop. You know what that game was?
A Chris Paul tribute to why he's the point guard. Why do y'all call him the point guard? Because of that right there.
A broken clock is right twice a day.
And
Chris Paul was the broken clock. Congratulations.
Looks like he was right about 14 times.
He was in one game. That has never been done before. History was made last night. Correct. And he's also
when you're mentioned in a scoring Chris Paul is not known as a scorer. When you're mentioned in Wilt Chamberlain for your scoring performance, that says a lot.
It says you had a great game. It doesn't make you a all-time
a great closeout game against a young Pelicans team. Them boys was hungry.
Oh God. So now we're going to celebrate the 1 seed beating the 8 seed.
The play-in seed.
Like that's what we doing. We're getting hype about the 1 seed beating the 8 seed.
But just hours before,
the
Pelicans.
Might I remind you, without Devin Booker, what did Chris Paul get done? Nothing.
They won.
They won a game.
The series was getting dragged out until Devin Booker came back.
What?
Nah, they won the game without Booker.
They won 2 without Booker.
The series got dragged out without Devin Booker. Yes or no?
He wasn't there.
I'm gonna give Chris Paul his credit. Game 1, he sucked. Game 2, he came on.
Wait. Game 1, he sucked. Game 1, he had 19.
That's
not in the fourth quarter.
Game 2, he came on. I think game 3, he sucked. The game 4, he came on again.
Game 3, he was great. It was
game 6. He was amazing in game 6. I'm not gonna take that away from him.
Amazing. He was history making.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he had a great game.
He did way better than Kyrie Irving did, so I give him that.
When Phoenix wins the championship this year, we're going to look back on this game. At Chris Paul's Hall of Fame ceremony, this game is going to be talked about.
They about to lose to Dallas.
We're talking about a first-round game against the 8 seed. That's what his claim to fame is going to be.
No, not his claim to fame. That's going to be in there that moment. We talk about Tracy McGrady, 13, in 13 and 35 seconds. That's great.
Tracy McGrady's a loser.
First of all, T-Mac's my favorite player, so we're not going to do any slander.
He's a loser. He's won nothing ever. So yes, when you're a loser, you gotta focus on individual highlights.
I like
to do your top 5.
When you're a winner, we look at what you did in the finals. In big moments, not in a closeout game versus the play-in team that was like 2-11 at one point this year.
That was a completely different team with CJ.
I agree, but they also didn't have Zion.
They didn't have Zion all year, and they played good.
My point being is he beat that team when they didn't have one of their top 2 or 3 best players.
Is he though? We don't know.
Zion is definitely one of their top 2 or 3 best players. There's no one after McCollum and Ingram that you're saying is better than Zion.
I mean, yeah, if you go that route, but you got to be healthy on the floor.
And I would argue CJ is getting passed on this. He didn't play well.
Last night he did not.
He didn't play great in the series, really.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this.
Hold on. Freddie came on to praise Chris Paul, y'all.
When CJ got there, that's when the Pelicans kind of
learning the directions on
in the regular season. I agree with you.
So then give him more time, give him next year, and you'll see a difference in the Pelicans.
If CJ McCollum does what CJ's supposed to do, we might be having ourselves.
We're gonna
but we won't because Chris Paul went 14 for 14.
We're gonna look
he didn't miss a free throw.
And we're gonna say that Dame was holding CJ back next year. Watch this.
Thank you.
We agree. I agree on that.
Mm-hmm.
I've said since CJ came over and I saw what the Pelicans did, it makes Dame look away.
Right.
There's no doubt in my mind that Dame looks away. However, CJ redeemed Dame by his performance in the playoffs because he was CJ again.
But that was always kind of a thought, though. I mean, we never really blamed Dame for those playoff failures.
No.
We were always praising Dame for we praised Dame for getting them to the playoffs. Even when they got swept by the Warriors, they made it to the conference finals still. I mean,
he's been in the league long enough. He starts to get the criticism for not getting over the hump.
But he had a half a year with the Pelicans. Wait till next year. I would give him a pass. You know, they did go up against the number one team in the NBA. So
exactly.
No one needs to guard Ayton. Ayton is self-check half the time.
Ayton went off this series. Ayton's trying to get paid. Ayton's about to get a bag.
He getting a max deal?
Oh yeah, he's getting it.
Hey Ray.
Whoever gives Ayton a max deal is as dumb as the person that gave Chris Paul a max deal at 37.
It's as dumb as the person that gave Kyrie Irving a max deal.
Chris Paul hasn't earned his deal.
It hasn't paid off yet.
I think Chris Paul earned his money than Kyrie Irving did.
He ain't earned it. Hey Ray.
They've won the same thing. Yes, Freddie.
What do you mean?
Chris
Chris
came on here talking about how Chris Paul went 14-14 with all that crap. You want a cookie? Nobody cares. It's the first round. It's the Pelicans. Nobody cares. We want to
wait a minute. No.
Yes.
I think I lost my point because of Freddie.
This is the first round,
right?
Chris.
You just said
something. I mean, come on, y'all. Are we really low on that standard of judging players these days? Really?
Apparently.
I mean, you had a dude by the name Alvarado. Have you seen his name guarding him? I mean,
had Chris Paul looking like a rookie.
Did he?
Exactly.
Had him get texts, had him getting 8-second violations.
And then what happened? He got his ass busted last night, didn't he?
He's supposed to. He's an undrafted rookie.
You're right. Like we're celebrating. Yeah, he beat up that guy that shouldn't be in the league. He shouldn't be in the league. He's Patrick Beverly 2.0, like cheap, the Wish version.
Only reason why I'm defending Chris Paul because Kyrie is trash.
What?
You
That's it.
You know what, Marcus? I'll take it. You on Chris Paul's side. That's fine. Kyrie's ass. If that brings you to Chris Paul.
Now y'all want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
No.
We're
gonna get back on subject. That was just my quick segue. I wanted to be acknowledged. I just wanted Chris Paul's game acknowledged. Ray, the topics, please.
I was talking about Kyrie Irving. I wasn't talking about your boy Chris.
Oh, we already had like a long debate on Kyrie.
Yeah, it was revealing.
I know Ray loves Kyrie because Kyrie soon gonna be on Kanye's bandwagon, and so that means Ray's going to accept Kyrie, and so.
I mean, I think Brooklyn runs it back. I think they'll be better next year. I've never been the hugest Kyrie fan. I don't think I've said it before. This wasn't the reason or year to bash Kyrie. Now, last year and some other
Why is it not?
Because I agree with his reasoning for taking the stand he took.
But still, even though there's a lot of people that might agree, but you still can bash him because he did have a choice, right? It's not like he didn't have a choice.
And he stood on his principles, which I respect way more than someone
and with that, even with that,
out his principles for money.
Even with that, you still gotta say if you gotta hold him accountable, because if he was playing those games, They ain't playing Boston the first round. They're probably playing Atlanta or Toronto or somebody like that, and they would have not gotten swept. James Harden would not be in Philadelphia.
Would they have had to play Boston at some point?
Yes, but they would have had James Harden because James Harden, they was a top 3 seed. James Harden ain't requesting a trade to go to Philadelphia.
Does he make a big difference though? We saw what Harden was with Brooklyn.
Yes, when you saw James Harden with Brooklyn, when it was Kyrie and KD, I know it was a small sample size. They was unbeatable.
Stop.
Because of Harden?
I'm not gonna say because of Harden, because of that big 3.
But we can make that same argument. We didn't see Ben. So what if Ben plays?
We didn't see Ben. Ben is on a hiatus. Yeah, okay. So
Ben has a mental block. So we got.
Yeah, he got more than a mental block, my brother. I'm sorry.
They need to trade him to LA.
No. To the Clippers, he ain't coming to the Clippers. He ain't coming to the Clippers. He's a clutch client. I will take Russell Westbrook for another season before I take Ben Simmons.
Wow,
really?
Because one thing I know is one thing I know.
Well, you can't have 2 people in street clothes on the Lakers, so I get it.
Yeah, one thing I know about Russ, he gonna play and he gonna try every night.
You want him to play every night? Trade him for AD. Give Brooklyn AD, and they'll give you.
Ray, I almost said a word that I can't say on airlines, my brother. You almost pushed me to that level, and the last word was gonna say please, and I think you know what the first one gonna be. No, sir.
Definitely not on this show. Definitely not on this show.
The money would match.
Huh?
The money would match.
I don't care if it's a straight up match. We don't want Ben.
Okay. So, Chris,
but it's time to say this, Greg, because I've been missing you, brother. I've really been meaning to see. I'm so happy to see you out of all people.
Oh,
wow,
man.
We can now no longer hold Kevin Durant to the best player in the game conversation again. That is
I just said. I said it on this episode.
Because if that was LeBron, Raymond James in these playoffs, and he would have done that, everybody in their mama would have been coming after him.
But I feel like because LeBron didn't make the playoffs, because LeBron didn't make the playoffs, is he eliminated from best player in the world now?
No.
Yes.
He's still 30.
Supposedly, Giannis took that mental last year.
He couldn't make the top 10 teams.
So, I mean, LeBron's 37, and we talk.
So, you know who's going to be 37 next Friday?
Chris Paul. He'll be 38.
What has he done in the NBA? Other than
Chris Paul's playing with the MVP. He should be in a good
position. MVP?
Devin Booker should be MVP.
You're right. He should be. I just want you to say it.
Chris, you talking about Chris Paul, but what I could make an argument that Russell Westbrook is a better player than Chris Paul.
We'll talk about that.
I've said that many times to you.
And I
they both accomplished the same thing outside of Russ MVP.
And you want to talk about record setting? How about averaging a triple-double for a season? Not one playoff game versus the 8th seed in the first round.
And that got you what? Eliminated in the first round, like the Pelicans did last night on the back of Christopher Emmanuel Paul.
So there was no other players that was hitting big shots?
You needed Devin Booker to
Chris Paul's assist
today. You needed Devin Booker to come back to save
Wait. Devin Booker's shot was off of Chris Paul assist.
But who had to save the day?
Chris Paul.
Nah, D Book, he had to knock that big 3 down.
Yeah, off of whose assist?
If Chris Paul misses one shot, they lose the game. So I give him that.
If
you
anybody
have D Book 3,
shot, they lose the game. So what are we saying?
And let's not forget, hey, Ray, let's not forget Chris Paul was in that dirty bag, his dirty bag, hitting old Alvarado in the teeth, mouth bloody, and just, y'all see him.
Elbows are a thing in basketball.
CP3 is a little dirty. You got to watch him. He is a little dirty. You got to watch him.
He's super dirty. I've been said that.
Let's ask him about his eyes. His elbows are a part of the game.
Because I wasn't on here. So I do want to say this. You want to give Chris Paul all the credit for the 14 for 14, go right ahead. But let's not excuse the 4-point game that he had just 2 games before.
He rested. He was resting up.
No. You don't get to rest in the first round versus the 8th seed.
It looks like he did, and it worked.
It only worked because CJ McCollum didn't come along for the ride. But we are not talking about top 5 point guards that scored 4 points in a playoff game as the 1 seed. So you can keep talking about last night.
I'm gonna tell y'all, you better watch out for Luka because Luka's coming.
Luka gonna absolutely dog Chris Paul.
So Mikal Bridges can't defend Luka?
No. Who do you want to see that?
He don't got enough weight for Luka. If
he's not gonna I'm not gonna say he's gonna shut Luka down, but I mean
Luka gonna average 35, 10, and 11.
That's your damn mind.
Watch. 35, 10, and 11.
Better postseason than Kyrie Irving.
He gonna put a triple dub on your head. Woo.
Okay, fine. So Crowder, you put Crowder on Luka.
Oh, please, barbecue chicken.
Listen, none of them can guard Luka. That's not your issue.
See, but that's the thing, though. Like right there, I just listened to defenders. Hell, Booker can defend. Like I just listened to defenders.
Brunson.
Do what?
That's where you need to focus.
Brunson's not going off again.
Oh no, that dude's legit. Like
nah.
I'm saying that's where you need to put Bridges. Do not waste Bridges on Luka. That's a waste.
Okay, so you put Crowder on him, you put Bridges on Brunson. Now what?
Crowder gonna foul out.
I think I told y'all before coming to the playoffs, I thought Phoenix was the best team.
But Dinwiddie, he could get hot too.
I've seen Dinwiddie. I'm not concerned
He
with
can
Dinwiddie
get hot.
in Brooklyn. I didn't see Dinwiddie in Washington. I didn't.
I know Dinwiddie's upset you a few times in Washington, right?
Yes, he has. So you can miss me on the Dinwiddie talk.
Hey,
Phoenix is by far a better team.
He can get hot
in the series.
He can get hot a game or two. And then,
hey, Iverson, I want to say this. This is a different Mavericks team. This is when they going in the playoffs. They have a 3-headed monster now. They have Luka. You have Bruce, like you guys said, and you have Spencer Dinwiddie, and they've been playing different ball.
So okay, your 3-headed monster. You're taking those 3 over Ayton, Paul, and Booker.
And I'm taking Jay Kean.
Over Monty?
Over Monty.
Nah.
I don't know about that, but I got Dallas at 7.
I got Phoenix and
I'm going Phoenix and 6.
I think it'll be over sooner than that, but I'll give them 6 again.
I'm saying 6. It's just a generous thing. I mean, a gentleman's sweep.
I'll be,
Dallas is getting 1 for sure.
6.
It will not be a sweep.
Took 2 off of them. Dallas is getting. It's going.
Hey! You.
Booker did miss some of those games.
There you go.
I mean, it doesn't
matter.
I mean, it don't matter. But if you got Chris Paul and Booker, they should have been closed out in 4, maybe 5 at the best.
Booker didn't play him.
But you got Chris Paul, the point guard. That should have been.
We all know Chris Paul's. What's Marcus' word for the show? Chris Paul's overrated. We all know that. So
he's not the
Devin
point guard.
Booker needs to be Devin Booker. I promise you, we won't get another 14-14 game.
No, we won't, because it has happened before. It probably won't happen again in our lifetime.
14 or 14.
Ray, I got something better than that, Ray. I bet you Chris Paul won't drop 30 in this round.
I'll take that bet too. I'm with you.
What do you need? Okay. If he doesn't and they win, what does that mean?
That Devin Booker's MVP and he got carried.
He's not a scorer first. You know what? The Suns weren't even a topic tonight. I made the topics. I didn't put the Suns on here.
You did. Your 5th topic
was a joke.
After Chris Emmanuel Paul.
You did say that.
I did say that. But still, the Suns weren't a topic. Chris Paul was. So,
hey, now Marcus, I know. Are you kind of? The reason why I got on this show, you guys, because I was
say some dumb
scrolling
stuff. You already done it. But I think Marcus already done beat you for the night for the dumb
I
stuff.
scrolled on Facebook, and I seen a post. It was from my brother Marcus, and he kind of touched me because I hate to see my dude sad. Because Marcus is a good dude. He's a good dude. But Marcus, it just ain't your time. It just ain't your time yet again. Y'all get in your own way. Now you gotta send up a prayer to the good Lord. Say, let old James Harden be able to go back to Houston. James Harden, please.
But he don't got no big to help complement his game. Once again,
I had Miami. I had Miami beating y'all with Joel Embiid. Now,
actually, we're going to beat Miami in 5.
Is Jimmy gonna play? Is Jimmy playing?
We all know that.
Even without Jimmy gonna be ready. Miami coming for that crown.
We'll be in
them
Miami.
Rough Riders down
We'll
there.
be in Miami in 5.
Hey,
Toronto
Marcus.
gave us a worse matchup for whatever reason. But we'll
Hey,
be in
Marcus.
Miami
Toronto,
in 5.
they played rough with you just a minute ago, gave y'all some problems. Oh, Miami gonna play even rougher.
We beat Miami twice. We split with Miami twice without Harden. With no Ben Simmons. So if Harden would have gave us anything, if Embiid was playing this series, it's over in 5.
But the thing is, Toronto don't really have a legit big man. They ended up by committee. Miami, got Bam. You got Hero. You got Robinson. You got PJ Tucker. You got Jimmy Butler. Kyle Lowry. He should be back. I mean, hey, they got some dogs to throw at you, bro.
What'd you say, Ray?
Thank
Kyle
you, Ray.
Lowry's a bum.
Thank you, Ray. And he's from North Philly, so I'm not gonna hate on my Philly guy, but
Let's not forget Oladipo coming off the bench now.
Basketball wise,
He's back.
And then you got who's the better coach? Who got the better coach?
Ooh, Miami, hands down.
Miami do got it. I'm not a fan of Doc Rivers. Like if he would have pulled my dudes like at the 8-minute mark in the fourth quarter, we was up 27.
What is that about? Why is he in 4 minutes in the game?
You know
up
why?
30.
It's fear. It's fear.
You're up 30.
No, it don't matter. It's fear. You heard him in the press conference. I believe the day before. Talking about him losing the 3-1 leads and him explaining each round and all that.
If we up 30 in the fourth quarter, you play them guys to the 8-minute mark and you take them out and let it ride. And Toronto happen to come back, you put them back in.
He's scared that he ain't gonna do that, bro. He's afraid that they've already asked him the question and he didn't even ignore it. He went detailed. He said this.
So if we had another coach other than Doc Rivers, trust me, and B wouldn't have been hurt right now.
I don't know. He's like AD. It's a matter of time. All you need is time. Is going to come.
But AD's injuries be happening from him like tying his shoe. Like that was just horrible timing. Embiid shouldn't have been nowhere in there. Embiid should have been in the locker room getting dressed.
Chris, you know what? I would make you go to the locker room and get dressed if we playing basketball. Because then I'll put that 2-step on you. Poop, boom, pop. Step back. Poop. Ooh.
Freddie, you scared to play me in dominoes, man. Chill up.
Hey, you didn't hit me up that day. That's sad. I said,
Didn't you go out of town?
Let it go.
Didn't you go out of town?
Go out of town where?
Last weekend. Didn't you go somewhere?
No.
Whatever.
I ain't go a place. I cut my yard outside.
But yeah, most definitely would have been beating Miami in 5 with a healthy Embiid.
And 5?
And 5.
Marcus always says delusional things at the beginning and end of our shows. So I'm just coming to get used to it.
But when have I been wrong though? It might be
this whole show.
But when have I been wrong on my delusions?
You be wrong. Show.
Let's just go back to when I started this show. I think all my stuff came out just fine.
We don't do a good enough job of writing stuff down and keeping track, but I'm pretty sure, Marcus, you not write a lot.
Marcus, you have Chris Webber in your top 5.
Hey,
that's
it right there.
Not no top 5 player.
That's debatable.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That's
He's
debatable.
not a top 5 power forward.
That's debatable.
No, it's not.
That's
He's
debatable.
not even a top 5.
Duncan, Garnett, Malone, Dirk.
He might be right there. He might be a top 5 Kings player.
That's like
y'all hate on my man Chris Webber.
He has a top 5 boneheaded play.
I mean, you're a college kid. You get.
You know what? You know what, Marcus? He's in my top 5 all-time great Laker moments.
Okay, that's fine.
With old Blatty, remember old Blatty?
Hey, they was the only team really pushing the Lakers in the playoff series. Really,
that is true.
I can't hate on my man for that.
You know what? I just can't wait till next year. I just can't.
Well, we still have the rest of the postseason. So while you're on vacation in Cancun, we'll continue to watch. And to Iverson's point or question, this is obviously going to sound super bad, but I don't really have a team. I support my local Washington team.
That's BS. That's BS. Don't come here that BS. Claim your team. You came on real talk team. You had a team. I ain't letting you fly.
I literally said that. I said that's my team because they're home. I support all my local teams, but they're not good. But I personally, in most sports, follow players, and I support the teams that those players go to. But the Wizards, the Commanders, the not Wizards, the Capitals, the Nationals, I'm gonna support every DC team because that's home.
What about
But
the
I
Mystics?
don't.
So who's your NBA player?
I'm a big Steph fan. I like Steph on and off the court. I think he's really dope. So I've been a fan of
You
his.
should like LeBron James because he do more off the court.
No. But I don't like LeBron.
How Chris Paul does more off the court.
And LeBron James is an absolute jerk, in my opinion. So,
Wow, we got so many future topics, man. I love this episode. Like, we got to talk about his overrated take on Kevin Durant.
and I think Chris Paul's a dirty player, so I would never.
Who said KD's overrated?
Marcus.
Marcus, you know what, brother? You might be on to something.
Nah, it's not that I'm on.
Well, I know the topic we're going to talk about
I'm
next
trying
week.
to tell you, nobody wants to say it, but Kevin Durant would never be in the LeBron James category, the Jordan category.
Nobody ever put him up there.
They tried.
have not.
I think that's the difference. People get on LeBron because people argue LeBron is the greatest of all time. No one has ever said Kevin Durant was one of the greatest players.
Well, to say
we say he's the greatest scorer.
That's almost the same, but
No, it's not.
You can't even be the greatest scorer of all time if LeBron averages more points than you. And LeBron's supposed to be a pass first guy.
But when you have the ball in your hand all the time, you ship away all the other.
It don't matter. They don't matter. Don't run from that break. Don't you run. I will fly to Washington.
Well, if you have the ball in your hands, you get to dictate where it goes. That doesn't help you. And you, of all people, should know what it's like to play with Russell Westbrook for 10 years.
I can make the argument that having Westbrook helped Durant better than having Kyrie Irving.
Marcus?
Marcus? I was with you, bro.
I can make the argument.
Marcus?
I was with you.
I know you mad.
Ask LeBron who would he rather have.
Listen, I can make the argument that Kevin Durant got farther with Westbrook than he got with Kyrie.
That doesn't mean it was easier for him to score.
I can make the argument.
Now, Marcus, I was with you at first. Now you lost me.
Yeah, let's think about this for a second.
Lord have mercy.
Before Ray got to go, Kevin Durant averaged more points with Russell than he does with Kyrie.
They
I can make the argument.
Played together.
I can make the argument.
But why is that, Ray?
Because when Kyrie got cleared, Kevin Durant was hurt.
They've been together for 3 years.
Kyrie got hurt last year.
And Kevin Durant didn't play the first year.
And didn't Kyrie want to take a break last year?
Overrated. You got to be available to get rated.
What are we doing?
Okay, but that should be 2 weeks that he could have played with Kevin Durant. But he wanted to go party.
2 weeks off when his back is hurt in Miami. Like, people take time off.
Not that much time.
Both of them overrated. You can say what you want to say, but the numbers don't lie.
I'm not gonna say Kyrie's
the
overrated.
numbers say that they're not overrated.
It does.
I'm not gonna say Kyrie's overrated, but Kyrie is he's all about him.
Too.
He's all about him. He's not about nobody else but him.
Overrated.
We agree with that.
Overrated. Nobody would have Kyrie as a number one option on their team.
That's been proven he can't be.
Unless you're the Kings or you're the Detroit Pistons, of course.
But you can't be a championship.
How many number ones are there in the NBA on a championship team?
You're supposed to be this great point guard. I mean,
how many are there? How many point guards are number ones on a championship team?
Say it again, right?
How many point guards are number ones on a championship team in the league today?
None.
So why are we killing Kyrie for not being the number one on the championship?
I will say this. Let me say this.
Point guards.
Let me say this. Kyrie Irving is eligible for an extension. He's eligible for an extension. I bet you Brooklyn will find a way, some way, somehow, to put in that contract that you will not get paid if you don't play this many games. They
need to. Because then they just be wasting money.
You can't do that. What if he gets hurt?
Yes, you can. If you can put a weight.
Okay, you're right. You're right. They can do that. And if I'm Kyrie, I don't sign it.
And if I'm him, I put it in there. If not, you can walk.
I'll let him walk.
You're not gonna lose. They're not gonna lose him.
No, you're in the same position that you've been for the past 3 years. You can't nowhere with Kyrie.
So when you walk, what happens to your franchise? Because you think Kevin Durant is going to hang out?
Well,
Yeah,
KD
fuck that.
know what's
They
best.
can play Steph Curry. He gives you more production than Kyrie Irving right now.
All right. And ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everything that you guys have said tonight. With that, Marcus has taken us to a level that I have just never seen. And we appreciate Marcus for all that he has to contribute. But we definitely have a lot of topics. So please tune in next week at 10 o'clock Eastern for more hot takes from Marcus. We love you. Y'all have a great weekend. And let's see if Ja can pull this off. It doesn't look great. Looks like we're going 7, but y'all watch. And for those watching the draft, enjoy. I don't know if ASAP. Do we have anything on tonight, Freddie, for the draft? Or was it just last night?
Yeah, just last night.
Just last night. All right. Well, watch the draft, watch this game, and watch us next week. And watch everything that ASAP's doing because we are working, even if Marcus says crazy stuff.
Yeah. Headed to ice cream.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court.